Hey everyone, today I have Corey Lewis with me, owner of CrossFit Xrta Mile in Fenton. How you doing, Corey?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm excited to have you on. I wanted to have you on for a couple of reasons. First, obviously a great business owner. We met through EO or entrepreneurship organization. But also, I love your energy. You're doing a lot of stuff with to support your members, doing a lot of stuff on social media, and you're doing things that are outside of the box. So I'm pretty excited to talk to you about some of that.
Yeah,
So
it's
how are you
been
holding up
an
with all this?
interesting but fun time for all of us.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So how are you holding up?
We're doing good. The energy is staying high between myself and my staff. And the nice thing is we have a good community that we've built. And so they're super supportive of us, super excited to see all the stuff we're doing. So as a, kind of a creative mind, it's been fun to try new things, experiment with new things, and see what avenues it'll lead to, going forward in the business.
Yeah, I think all we can do is have a positive outlook on this, right?
Yeah.
I
That's
think,
been our big push is, that's always been one of our core values as a business is like positivity and teamwork. And this, the last 4+ weeks have been perfect example to utilize those and to let those core values shine a little bit.
I've always thought that there's a lot of similarities in what you do and what I do in the sense of what I do and what you do isn't rocket science, really.
Yeah.
People already know. It's just a matter of helping them actually do it, right? But in times like this, it's our job to kind of be a leader and to help them and to be a voice of reason. And for me, obviously on the finance side, but for you, it's not just about physical health, but also about mental health. That's
Absolutely.
so. What have you been doing to help your members with that?
We've been doing a lot. Obviously, we provide our workouts and a lot of social media stuff. And even we do some Zoom happy hours, some Zoom community workouts, but then just, going above and beyond for our members. So like my head of member relations, she's individually reached out to each member and she talks to probably 10 to 20 members a day, from anything from their personal to their, fitness life to just shooting the breeze with them. Because most people are just looking for an outlet to talk to. My manager reaches out to people. Me personally, I'm handwriting postcards to members. Social media has been huge for us. That allows us to message or comment or engage with members very easily at our fingertips. So it allows me to touch. We always talk about touching members when they're in the gym, verbally and giving them that attention.
And that's metaphorical, right?
That is not
No,
physically touching.
right.
But it allows us to do the same on social media. I can spend an hour on Instagram or Facebook and engage and interact with current members, past members. Because like you said, right now is a depressing time for people. So if we can spread positivity, keep everybody positive and excited for what's coming, it's a win-win for all of us.
For sure. And that's, as you know, I'm here on the Illinois side of the river. So I go to CrossFit 557. Shane McBride does a great job there. I absolutely love it. But the big thing about CrossFit is the community, right?
Yep.
So when people are stuck by, and not everyone needs that community. Not everyone wants that community. Some people are more than okay working out by themselves. For me personally, I can't do that. So when you have a group of people that go there because they love that socialization of it, it's even more important for you to try to continue that as much as you can during a time like this.
Yeah, and that was kind of where we entered the unknown when we started. Basically our gym is built off of that daily interaction and the people coming before class and hanging out after class. And, we do 1 to 2 membership or member events, community events a month that have all been canceled.
Yeah.
And it's kind of been interesting. We actually talked about today at our meeting. It's like, you never know how people are going to interact or how they're going to be affected by something like this. And it's kind of opened up avenues. We have the Zoom and the Instagram workouts and places for people to engage, but we have some that have no desire in that. Yeah. And so with those people, we're engaging with text groups and with, messenger groups on Facebook, and even some have no desire in that. And we're reaching them via email or postcards or just finding that avenue to keep everybody engaged, interacting with everybody. because everybody's struggling. Like, none of our members like working out alone. That's why they come to CrossFit.
For sure.
And you can't really duplicate that when you're all sitting in front of a computer doing a Zoom workout. But making the best of the situation. And we've really used this time to preach and to educate people on enjoying the journey. Not every workout has to be, your best effort or you going 100%, but kind of use this time to, bring the kids or the family in on the workouts, or, laugh a little bit more during the workout, joke around through Zoom, or, we get lots of people commenting on our Instagram live while they're working out, and kind of enjoy the journey more. And also, because we've done a lot of webinars also to use this time to educate. And that's even what our dietitian was telling people, is like, these 8 weeks or 6 weeks, whatever we're going to end up being in, is enjoy the journey and don't beat yourself up when you have a drink at night with the family, or, slip up on your diet. It's all just part of that journey of health and fitness that we're all on for many more years to come.
Yeah. And that mental health is a big part of it, because it's easy to get kind of in your own funk during a time like this. It just is. Is there a couple of things that maybe you've learned about people or about yourself during this COVID-19?
I actually think, I was talking with some of our staff, but like, all you hear about is like negativity and the bad that's out there. And I've been overwhelmed with the amount of like generosity. And I'll use our community for an example, like the amount of good that's come out of our community through this. We had one member that knew we had another member that was struggling and didn't have a job right now, and bought him a brand new pair of Nike shoes. We've had a couple members that knew that their fellow athletes were furloughed and have picked up their memberships through this, because they didn't want the gym to suffer and they didn't want those members to lose out on the community aspect. And then like today, we had a member that hand delivered chocolate chip cookies with handwritten cards to like 15 or 20 members. So just like that, genuine positivity and kindness from people has been like an awesome surprise. Not that I didn't think it was there, but just seeing people go above and beyond. And then from like my perspective, I've always said that like coaching and fitness comes natural to me. Leadership and like the business side is constantly evolving, constantly developing. And obviously there's none of my mentors I can go to and like, hey, what do you do when there's a pandemic and shut your business down?
Kevin didn't have an answer for that one.
Kevin did not have an answer. He wasn't around apparently 100 years ago when the last pandemic came through. But just like learning how to help the coaches through this, because they're worried about their jobs and they're worried about, their health and just the uncertainty. So I would say from like a leadership and business standpoint, it's kind of been trial by fire and taught me things. And I think I'll be a better boss, better leader after this than I was when I went into it.
For sure. And I think it's, we have to be more in tune with not only our employees, but also our clients, our members, and just their feelings, what they're saying, what they're not saying. And it's obvious that, we all see things through our own lens, right? And how we view things are obviously not how someone else is viewing. So for you and I, and really everyone, to be cognizant of that and adapt, and not just assume that people are like us. I think that's a good lesson that hopefully people are learning during this time.
Yeah, and we even took the opportunity. We have a health coach that's a good friend of mine, and took this opportunity to hold some webinars on like stress management and the benefits of sleep to your mental health. And, people are uncertain, and this is a chance that, we can't be together in the gym, but not a chance that we can't continue to learn as people, grow as athletes. And then just all of my coaches are super aware and like going above and beyond to see how people are feeling and adapt to it. One of my coaches that's been with us for 8 years, she's one of our older members, older coaches, and she could tell one of our other older females that's a nurse was just dragging and going kind of depressed. So she took dumbbells over to her house. One stood at the top of the driveway. My coach stood in the street, and they did a workout together, and it just lifted her spirits. So I think just finding, that's what's cool about our staff is they're willing to go the extra mile, go above and beyond,
Hmm.
and genuinely just care about people, which shows in a time like this. If people actually care, or they're just kind of going through the motions.
Well, yeah, and we talked about earlier before we got started that to me, this is an opportunity, if you choose to view it as such, for every business owner, and whatever it is that you do, that you're either going to rise to the occasion and
Hmm.
prove yourself, or you're not. And I think that when it's all said and done, that will be recognized thereafter for not only the clients or the members or whatever it is that you do that you have now, but also, going forward.
Oh yeah, I think we're gonna, once this is said and done, we'll see the businesses that, treated their employees, treated their customer properly,
Mhm.
and the people that actually have a passion and a desire for what they do. Um, because right now you're going to be tested by fire for, even when we go back to work, this month or next month, uh, business isn't going to be as usual for at least 6, 8, 10, 12 months. So it's going to test people on all levels. So it'll be interesting what comes out of it.
For sure. So how did you get to become an owner of a CrossFit gym? Tell me about that. I don't know that I've heard this story.
I don't know if you have. So it actually all started as a sophomore in college.
So
I
that
was
was like four
basically
years ago or what?
a little longer than that. What year did I start? '07.
Okay.
13
Man,
years
you're
in now.
young.
I'm 32 in a couple weeks.
There you go. Good for you.
But I was actually basically handed what was called Extra Mile Sports and Fitness.
Okay.
It was my old coach. I actually trained with Extra Mile Sports and Fitness, but my old baseball coach ran it, and it had like one client, and he would come down and coach it. It was dwindling to nothing.
Hmm.
It was in a baseball academy in Arnold. And
Okay.
he called me up and, hey, do you want to take this and make it your own? And so basically I took over a room and one athlete and a name. And I trained there for probably another 8 to 10 months, maybe a year. And then when I found CrossFit, it was actually through another baseball coach of mine.
Hmm.
And that's when I realized not only was it the best training for myself, but was going to take my athletes to the next level. Because all I worked with was baseball, softball, football, mostly, and soccer players a little bit.
Gotcha.
So I knew that's what they needed to get to the next level, whether that was get from junior high to high school sports or high school to college sports.
Hmm.
So I actually transitioned all of them. We had a brief stay where I trained out of my parents' basement. That wasn't our fanciest gym that I ever trained out of. We got the
No?
job done though. But then I was at CrossFit Valley Park for '08 to December of 11.
Okay.
Almost 4 years. We'll say 4 years.
Yeah.
Literally just rented space, trained a bunch of kids, had a few adults. And then in January of 12 is when I opened Extra Mile, CrossFit Xrta Mile. Converted all the kids over. That was our main source of training, was
Mhm.
youth athletes.
Gotcha.
We've kind of always prided ourselves. We've helped over 40 youth athletes get college scholarships.
Nice.
So that was our bread and butter for years.
Okay.
Then once I opened up CrossFit Xrta Mile, the adult training and training for everybody kind of took off. And now it's reversed, where our youth is kind of my hobby. CrossFit adults and our other fitness programs for all ages kind of carry the gym now.
I can't help
And
it but want to ask you, are there any similarities or differences in working with adults versus kids?
I always say that I'm trained for any type of adult class or atmosphere I get put in because of training kids.
Yeah.
Because kids they're very detail oriented. They don't pay attention to grade it. Like, you have to keep them engaged. And I think there's a lot of similarities. I always joke we have a group of males at the gym that have about the attention span of our youth level 1 class, which is our like 7, 8, 9 year olds.
Mhm. I
And
think
so
we
it's
talked
trained
about it's the middle-aged men in particular, right? Like that are my age, that are like 40 and 45. They're kind of, it's
that
like they're
40 to
trying to,
50 range is the where they revert back to their 8, 9 year old age.
I see. Yeah.
But it's definitely given me the skill to like coach adults better, to engage with adults better.
Mhm.
Um, I think that was the best thing for my career, was starting with kids and then training adults after that. Training adults is easy compared to training kids.
For sure.
I always say my business lesson, that was my first, or the best thing to happen to me as a coach. And then from the business side, I I worked out of some very shitty businesses. So
Mhm.
that taught me how to run a business better. So it was a twofold experience.
No, for sure. I mean, we can learn from what not to do or what we should do, right?
Yep.
But yeah, I mean, people they engage in different ways, they're motivated in different ways. Just we're just wired and programmed very differently. So you and I, and really any business owner, whether or not I have a array of clients, you have array of members, but even just having employees, you have to recognize that there's not people should not change to you, that you have to change to them, right? That it's not
Yeah.
one way, and leading anyone, that you have to lead in a way that's most beneficial for them.
No, that's definitely been my biggest learning. And I'm still learning on a daily basis.
For
My
sure.
staff is small. We're 14. I have 2 full-time, and then the other 12 are all part-time employees.
Hmm.
And, some of them you can be very blunt with, some of them, respond differently, and trying to, place those, pull and push where you can to get the most out of them.
Hmm.
And the big thing is just, I always say it comes back to like genuinely caring about people. If you're going to invest in them and genuinely care about them, then you're able to find what benefits them the best to lead them in the best manner.
Right, and you can't hide that, right? I mean, if we pretend to care,
Yep.
that shows. I always joke that I'm the worst poker player in the world. That I try to hide my feelings, but if you know me, you know me. So you just have to be honest with yourself and with them, and because if you're not, they'll see right through it.
Yeah. Well, that's what I always say when you go into a class or go into a room, if you're faking what faking it,
Mhm.
people are going to pick up on it fast. When you're genuinely excited to see them, or positive atmosphere or positive mindset
Mhm.
and personality, and they're going to tell if that's real or fake, and they're going to give it right back to you, whichever one you're giving to them.
For sure. And to state the obvious, we live in a society that is nothing but fake, right? We have
Yep.
social media, Facebook, people love to post every day about how beautiful their life is. And to me, I almost wonder if the more someone posts, maybe the more they're concerned about something themselves. I don't know. I really, over the past couple of years, I've really appreciated authenticity and just want to be that. And again, I see that on your social media posts. You even posted something either yesterday or today about waving at people.
Yep.
Tell me about that. What was that about? I loved it.
Well, it's something that Brittany, my fiance, and I have always discussed. Like, every time I drive in the neighborhood, when I'm driving, I'll just wave at all the cars that pass.
Yeah.
And it's always been a joke that most of them will just ignore me, or every now the one, we've passed the same cars for 3 years now, so some of them finally wave back at me.
Right.
But our big thing with our community right now is we do a Sunday night virtual walk. We get on Zoom, and we'll have 20 people, 15 people, whatever it is that week. We'll just go on a walk together since we can't be together.
Mhm.
And like, and probably you've noticed it too, in your neighborhood there's a ton of people out on the street.
Yes.
And like, when you wave at somebody, I grew up all my family was from small country towns. So everybody waves at each other. Everybody says hello to each other. And, here in the city, everybody kind of just puts their head down, doesn't want to make eye contact.
Mhm.
And we're big right now on, when we went on our walks, everybody was picking up trash to help the community. And like, hey, could we change the mindset and the attitude of people by just showing them a nice gesture of waving at them or acknowledging them. And so I've always done it, but it was kind of cool to see that I'm not the only one that does it. And
Yeah.
like, maybe we can start a trend. And I'm always a big believer, if we can make one person's day better, that's just going to snowball and they can make somebody's day better. And I still believe we can have more positivity in the world.
For sure. And the waving thing I'm a big part of. So in the neighborhood I used to live in, there was one gentleman, older gentleman, 65. I lived there for 10 years, Corey. I waved at him every day and he just wouldn't look up. And it got to where I would like annoyingly wave just to
Yep.
be silly and try to get his attention. And at one point it bothered me because it's like, what is it? But the reality is you don't know what's going through in his life that makes him not want to look up. Maybe there's something that he's been through or something that it's just him that I'm not aware of. But I can't help but think about social media. There's so many people that are complaining about what they cannot control, right? They're complaining about politics or what's happening or what's not happening. And it's so easy to sit in a chair and pretend as if you know everything, but yet are you doing anything with your own circle, right? And I
Yep.
feel like if people would put that much effort and focus into being a positive light on the people around them, then where you can actually control it, that is infectious as well, and we'd all be better off for it. So,
Well, and that was actually because obviously, we're a fitness gym and this is kind of somebody's hobby that they do.
mhm.
But that was a goal that we had set out when we knew the end was coming, that we were going to have to close down and convert to a online social media based business for a couple weeks. We originally thought 2 weeks, but obviously it's stretched into 5 or 6 weeks now. But we actually started a hashtag, and like that was our goal with our members was, can we change the narrative to a positive, families going on walks or people working out? That's our avenue. But can we fill social media with that instead of the negative or people complaining about COVID or things like that? And now it's evolved into what we call the XM mentality of doing good in your community. But we've even been able to take that to the next level and support small businesses along the way. So each week, we get about 90 or 100 posts a week using our hashtag
Okay.
of trying to change the narrative to positivity. And then we give away about $100 to $150 gifts every week that are gift cards to small businesses or supplements from a local small company here. And just how can we support each other? Because again, we're all in this together, and we all have friends that are in the restaurant business. So it was fun for me because before they closed, I was able to go buy hundreds of dollars of gift cards to support them. And then in return, give them away to our members that reward them for their hard work and let them go enjoy the same restaurants that I enjoy, that hopefully they all reopen here in June.
For sure. And if you don't own a business, especially a small business, you might not be aware, but as a small business owner, we are hit up all the time about
Yep.
supporting and sponsoring and doing this and that. Restaurants are hit up all the time. And I think it's just only right to support them at a time like this, whenever they've supported the community for so long. We had the Taste of O'Fallon last year. Great turnout. It was a great benefit for Carlos Smith Behavioral Health. That's near and dear to me. But it also allowed the restaurants to kind of shine and show the community what they're made of. It was a great event. So I've been trying to do the same thing, just do kind of fun, raffling for $100. It's not much, but it gives them a little PR. Try to spread a little positivity and support them as much as I can. I think we need to do more of that.
Yeah, and that's what I kept telling our members was like, because some of them realize it, but others don't realize, like, I've even expressed my story, like how scary it was to say, I'm going to close my business and you have no idea if it's going to reopen or when it's going to reopen. But like, hey, if you really enjoy going to breakfast at this place or lunch at this place, you need to support them now. You can't just say, oh, I'll go eat there more when they come back, because that's not going to get them through this time.
Yeah, they might not make it. Yeah.
Yeah. And, like we went and bought $100 gift cards at every place. We broke them into 5 sets of 20 so that we could give them to more people. But like, it's a small gesture, but if 10 people do that, that's $1,000. And now that's going to help them pay their rent this month or get through these times. So there is a brighter future for them all.
For sure. And I know that there are people that, that are maybe listening to this and they say, well, I'm out of my job, whatever it might be. But, and that's horrible as well. But to me, as a business owner, it's not just about your livelihood, but it's about your employees' livelihood as well. And you take that seriously. I mean, how could you not, right?
Oh, absolutely. No, I always say the biggest stressor on me was knowing if my coaches will be able to pay their rent or, buy dinner this week. And we've been fortunate that I've been able to pay every employee through all of this. And we're also fortunate that some of our employees have other jobs too that can support them, since they can't coach as many as they normally coached hours. But we've been able to support the staff along the way, because 3 of my coaches fully depend on us for their income.
Right.
And so they've been taken care of. And even some of the other coaches have, gone out of their way to help the coaches. They know that this is their livelihood. So just another good. And then I've even got, we've been able to do more with our friends at Brace for Impact.
Yeah.
'cause a lot of people don't realize that charities are struggling through
Oh,
this
big
time.
time. Yeah.
And so I always say that's I'm the fitness guy in the morning, I'm the coffee man in the afternoon to try to help the charity a little bit.
Well, yeah, Brace for Impact is an amazing charity, as you know. Kyle and his wife, they do a great job. Haiti, just North County, or I'm sorry, North City.
Yep.
Haiti is always a focus, but they do amazing things in North City as well.
And that'll be the interesting thing, that when we come out of this, like, what is the, consequences for other businesses? Like, how much pain is felt through all the businesses and different, like, I even talked to our shirt printing guy today, and he's lost contracts with running organizations and marathons, and the Susan G. Komen, you know, the effect it's going to have on businesses for months to come is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's only natural when you have a big kind of panic that people fend for themselves first. And it's
Yep.
interesting, reading an article recently about how people react during times of panic, and they will do things that morally they would have not have previously thought to do.
Like hoard toilet paper.
Hoard, yeah, which is insane, right? And hoard other stuff, but it's just, which is crazy because to me, I again just try to be a calm voice in an emotional room with what I do as a financial advisor, but people can panic and do crazy things, and it's just that herd mentality can scare me a little bit because there's nothing much dumber than groups, for lack of a better term. So, what motivates you? Not to flip the switch quickly, but I'm just curious what motivates you every day, and what motivates you today? Is it the same as what it used to motivate you?
I would say it's been similar forever, and it's actually is what our gym core value is. But my big motivation is just helping people live a higher quality of life.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's carries into everything I do. As a coach, I can change people physically. As a business owner, I can change, not only through the fitness aspect, but change people with jobs and change people's mindsets and things of that nature.
Yeah.
So even with my work with, the charities I work with or the companies I work with that are partners of ours, that's always been my goal, and my mission is to help as many people live a higher quality of life as I possibly can. And that's even, I had this talk with somebody a few weeks ago, like there's several companies I work close with or that the gyms are partnered with. And that's big for me, is if their mission and their core values aren't the same as ours and don't align, that dictates who we work with or who I'm going to align with. Because I don't want to be aligned with people or companies that's not their goal, to help people live better quality of life. And so, yeah, that's been what constantly drives me, what gets me up at 4 a.m. and what keeps me motivated throughout the day.
Did you say 4 a.m.?
Yeah.
Even during this, dude?
Some days I got up at 5 today. I slept in.
Man, bomb.
Why do you think I have coffee so early in the morning? I got to keep going.
right. You're on like your 8th cup right now.
I am.
That's funny. So have you always been motivated before owning this? Were you always a motivated person is what I'm getting at, before starting CrossFit Xrta Mile?
I would say so. That was even when I played high school sports. I was always, I wasn't the most gifted athlete, but I would always put in the most work in the cages or on the field to try to make myself better. I was always motivated in that way.
Right.
I guess it comes from my grandparents and my dad. Just, take what you're given and work your ass off to get better at whatever you want to get better at.
Yeah.
So that's always motivated me. I won't say I've ever been motivated by money. Right. Obviously we have to work and do things for financial gain, but as a coach, my motivation is making all my athletes better athletes than I am. As a business owner, my goal is to make all my employees better than I am. And that's just what motivates me, drives me to do better every day.
Yeah. You mentioned money. Obviously I'm a financial advisor, and everyone says or likes to say, I just love to help people. I will be 100% frank. I grew up in a poor community, grew up in the lovely single wide trailer. And back whenever I was a kid, I wanted to make money. I was very insecure about my upbringing, and I wanted to make money. But then after a while, it didn't take long for doing what I did to recognize that wasn't going to make me happy. And then you have to pivot, right? And you have to recognize what is, because if money is your driving force, you're never going to have enough, right? And then that's just a sad place to end up at. So for me, it's about being significant. And maybe that's a little bit different for most people, but I have this, maybe from my upbringing, this insecurity about wanting to be significant, wanting to be someone that a lot of people look up to. So for me, it's about, doing the right thing. And you talked earlier about working with business owners that are like you. I like to call that, the obvious, and that's karma. I mean, I
Yep.
only want to be around business owners who genuinely care about doing the right thing. I have no interest in anyone who focuses on money, that focuses on the bottom line. If I hear a business owner talk about sales all the time, I don't like it. I want to get away from them because that's not what it's about, right? It's about much more than that. And I think the reality is, if you're focused not on making money, but on doing the right thing, the interesting thing about it is you will actually make more money because you're
Yep.
doing it for the right reasons, and everyone recognizes that.
Well, that's something my parents taught me years ago, was like, and you see it in people that are money driven usually just fade away and they
Mhm.
never achieve what they're out to get. And people can pick up on that. If I went into my gym and, just basically made it well known and noticed that my only goal was how much money can I get out of each person,
Mhm.
they're going to notice that. I'm going to lose members. People aren't going to want to be around you in that case. My coaches won't want to be around me. My staff won't want to be.
Right.
Obviously, we're in business and we have to make money to survive and to get the things. I like to go on vacations and I want a nicer house, and those things have to come. But the driving force has to be bigger than financial gain of it. You said you'll never find happiness if that's your driving force, because there's never going to be enough. But if your driving force is that enjoyment and that high you get off of seeing somebody lose 100 pounds, or seeing, like one of my coaches just bought their first house, seeing that reward pay off, then the financial stuff falls in line and you'll be happier than ever.
Without a doubt. Again, on the similarities between what you do and what I do is sometimes we have to tell people what they don't want to hear,
Yep.
right? So one of my kind of mantras is that I'm willing to tell you what you don't want to hear, and I know that you might fire me for that, because if I don't tell you, you should fire me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just like I'm willing to go out on a limb and tell you something that might piss you off, because you should fire me if I don't, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes that kind of tough love is what people need. But also, as you know, if you push too much, then they'll just run in the opposite direction. So you just have to be careful with that.
And that's where it comes to just reading people. Like, I have one coach that, her and I'll go in the room and we'll have a knockout drag out, and she'll tell me she's the most brutally honest person ever to me, but
Right.
that's helped me grow as a leader and as a boss. And I'm able to give it right back to her. And, we've been best friends, good friends for 8 years now. She's been my longest running employee because we have that relationship.
Yeah. I mean, the
Uh,
foundation of that relationship is trust, right? So you know that that's
yep.
coming from a good heart, and she's just not a bad person, and vice versa.
Well, and the nice thing with ours is, I have another coach that's very similar. She's been with me since day one also. And I always know that when they come at me, it's not because, or come to me with their concerns and are brutally honest with me, it's not out of spite or out of anger. It's out of, they expect more from me and they expect better for our community.
Mhm.
And so they know that my decisions are what I think is best, but obviously their view might be different and they keep me aligned. And that's one reason we've had this success, is if they see me going down a rabbit hole, they're going to make it very clear to me.
Yeah.
And because their best interest is in me and in our community. And so that's where the trust comes in, that we're able to have those conversations um, and be good friends after. It's not personal, it's literally trying to make each other better. Or if they are going down a bad road, or being able to have those heartfelt, confidential, personal talks are what makes stronger bonds, and literally propels our company to the levels we're at. Where if they didn't have those conversations and I wasn't able to have those with staff,
Mhm.
we wouldn't be able to be as strong and as strong a community as we are without those.
For sure. I think that, it sounds like you're the same, but the worst thing I feel like I could ever do is surround myself with yes men.
Yep.
Every time I'm around anyone that, whether it be an employee or a mentor or whatever, I want the brutal, honest truth. I tell all my employees that out of the gate, that I will never be upset as long as you're honest with me. and I never want them to just placate me and just say yes or whatever just to please me. I want honesty, because I can't
Yep.
grow and they can't grow, and we can't be better without that. And not only in my business life, but also in personal life. I mean, as we get older, those are the relationships that we want. I mean, I know you and I are just as good at joking and giving each other shit as anyone else, but sometimes you like to just have some serious like life conversations. And the older I get, I still like the jokes and all that, but I
Yep.
like to have some serious like heart to heart conversations as well.
Absolutely. And, I've had employees in the past that we didn't have that ability to have those discussions, and, it just builds animosity and tension between everybody.
And everyone feels
and it
that.
divides teams.
Yes.
When everybody's able to be open, and that's what we've built our team off of is, I can take a class or watch a class from another coach and go tell them what they did bad. You obviously tell them good at times too. But everyone's eager to tell each other what they can do better.
Right.
And everybody's open to that feedback. And I think that's key in any organization, any team, is that, nobody's better than anybody or the other person. And none of us are so smart that we can't learn more. And that's what I love about when we go to our EO events is, there's people that are a ton smarter than me, even in our group. I always look at I'm the dumbest one in the group. And
Which is
that
true.
it is probably true.
I'm kidding. No, it's not.
But it gives me a chance to sit there and just soak in the knowledge.
Yeah.
And our group is open to learning from each other, and other people in the EO as a group are open to learning from each other. And that's just what helps people keep growing and building to be better at what they're doing.
Yeah, and for anyone listening that is not familiar with EO, it's an entrepreneurship organization. It's a worldwide nonprofit that is really just about helping business owners grow and have borrowed perspective, right, and work together to make each other's lives easier and to help each other accomplish whatever goals that we are. So it's great and in our group, right, we have people from various industries. So it's great to get that perspective, because too many times we get in a situation where we only surround ourselves with like-minded people.
Yep.
Within our industry. And then it's just, we hear the same stuff. We don't hear anything new, anything fresh. And I think some of the best ideas as a business owner we can get are from people that really don't know anything about our business.
And I think that's what's been huge for me is I always say I never really had a real job until I opened up my business. I worked at McDonald's for a month and Blockbuster for a few months. But basically I was on my own. Old day. See, I am older than you think. But I never actually worked for what I call a real job to learn from people. Mm-hmm. And so I always say that the first few years of my business, I was a learning process, but I was just, learning from my mistakes and trying to figure things out on my own. Mm-hmm. But then having the ability to sit and talk to people that have more experience than I do and have been through this, the different ups and downs and the headache, they can tell me what I have coming. Even though they don't know my industry, just they know business, and it's helped me grow not only as an entrepreneur, but just as a person in general, being a part of something where you can, and I think that's key for anybody, is be a part of a group that you can, be open with and learn from, no matter what field you're in, or even if it's not a business related, but a sports related group or something. I think everybody could use benefit from an outlet that with, like-minded people that can help push them to get better.
For sure. I think we all, as we get older, we want more and more connection, right?
Yep.
Less superficial stuff, and we want a connection. So however you can get that, I think everyone's going to improve by getting that, for sure.
Absolutely.
So this has been fun, man.
Absolutely. I'm glad you had me on.
Yeah, it was great to have you. Maybe we'll have to do this again. Maybe we'll get Kevin and some others with us too. Who knows?
I'm down. Hopefully we're not in quarantine still when we do that, but
Lord, I hope
always
not.
Down to sit, have a drink, and have a little discussion.
For sure. Well, it was good talking to you. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, sir. Have a good night.
All right. See you, Corey.